Your next phase of growth is closer than you think. Eisner Amper, an accounting, advisory, and outsourcing firm, sees your transformation as our purpose. Whether you're streamlining processes, empowering productivity, or navigating strategic growth, we help you prepare for today so that you can thrive tomorrow. Eisner Amper, ready, set, grow.
I'm Kim Singletary, and you're listening to Biz Talks, a weekly conversation with local business leaders about topics affecting New Orleans and Southeast Louisiana. Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of Biz Talks. I'm Kim Singletary, editor of Biz New Orleans Magazine, and today we're talking about fortified roofs. They are a good thing. These are roofs that are built to higher standards set by the Insurance Institute for Business and Home Safety. They go beyond typical building codes, and they provide extra protection against damage from high winds, hail, severe thunderstorms, all the stuff that we get here. In 2024, Louisiana took a cue from other states like Alabama and North Carolina, and through its Louisiana Fortify Homes Program, it began offering these $10,000 grants for homeowners to upgrade their roofs. And that's done through a lottery system. I was actually, fun fact, number 6 in the state to get one of those grants. So I'm all aware of the program and its opportunities. Interested homeowners must apply and meet the standards, which includes that homeowners pay an evaluation fee. It can only be primary residence, no new construction, condos, mobile homes. And then you put out your application and you kind of hope the odds are in your favor and you literally win the lottery. Demand has been strong for the program, driven by the promise of lower insurance costs. The program's website states that discounts have reached up to 50% off the cost of wind and hail coverage. More than 34,000 people in Louisiana have applied in the coastal parishes, because that's what it's valid for, to win a grant through this lottery system, and about 20% have gotten lucky. About 4,900 homes have been given these grants and have gotten a fortified roof. Another 3,000 are soon to be issued. And then this year brought big news because our $30 million program for the 26-27 budget got a boost of another $64 million thanks to a cash surplus that was available from Louisiana Citizens Property Insurance. That means another 5,000 grants are scheduled to be up for grabs later in the next year. But the Louisiana Fortify Homes Program is not the only route to go to get a fortified roofing grant. For instance, after his home suffered damage from multiple hurricanes, a Marrero homeowner named Dexter Carey was struggling to afford his insurance and the repairs. Fortunately, he received a fortified designated roof grant for $15,000 through a program called Disaster Rebuilding Assistance. That's the grant. From a bank out of Dallas, Federal Home Loan Bank of Dallas, and it was through their member institution, On Path Credit Union. These DRA grants help provide with the repair, rehabilitation, and reconstruction of owner-occupied housing. FHLB Dallas also offers a separate fortified roofing grant that is not disaster-related. To share more about both of these opportunities, I'm excited to talk today to Greg Hettrick. He is the Senior Vice President and Director of Community Investment at FHLB Dallas, which is the bank offering these grants to homeowners in federally declared disaster areas in Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, New Mexico, and Texas. Welcome, Greg.
Thank you. Really appreciate you having me on today.
I know that was a heck of an intro, but
that was a great intro.
But we will get into it all. So the second round of funding specifically for these disaster-related grants opened up on August 3rd, and that's $1.75 million that's available. Right. So let's talk about why and when you guys started offering these grants.
So on the disaster rebuilding assistance, we started offering these around 2018, I believe.
Okay.
And really, it was initially in response to Hurricane Harvey that hit the Texas coast back then. And, really what we were looking for after, seeing one disaster after another hit the Gulf Coast in the states that we support in Texas, Louisiana, and Mississippi, we wanted to figure out how to do more and to help our member financial institutions and their customers recover, especially low and moderate income folks. And this was a way for us to really create something that we could stand up and keep operational, well beyond every disaster that we get. I mean, we get multiples every year in our footprint. And oftentimes what we've learned is it takes folks quite a while to assess damage, deal with insurance, maybe deal with FEMA, go through all the steps, or the state of Louisiana. And it takes a while to figure things out. So this program enables us to go back about 4 years in the past and help people that are still trying to figure things out and get repairs done from older storms. FEMA's really great with, more immediate type activities. And this gives people a chance to really rebuild better.
So FHLB in Dallas, you have these member institutions, and like I said, it goes across pretty much the Gulf Coast. When did these grants get kind of expanded, and when did you start serving Louisiana?
From the get-go.
From the get-go, okay.
It is disaster specific, if you will. So right. Every time there's a FEMA declared disaster for individual assistance, I'm sure you guys are familiar with that status. Mm-hmm. We make the program available to those parishes or counties that are listed for that particular disaster. So, right now, we go back to events in 2023 that folks can still apply for. Currently in Louisiana, the main event that impacted folks that we're still providing repairs for is Hurricane Francine from 2 years ago.
Okay. So you got, like I said, you have two different programs. So let's talk about the disaster one. So that was the one that I mentioned with Mr. Carey in Marrero. So his problem was he couldn't get his roof fixed. He was struggling to pay the insurances. And so this came through. So he was a member of OnPath Federal Credit Union, and that's kind of how this was brought up?
I would assume so.
Okay.
I know his particular relationship with OnPath.
But that's how these are given out, is through your member.
Yes. So OnPath facilitates the application to us.
Okay.
So when people learn about the program, and anybody can go to our website at FHLB.com and see what we offer and disaster rebuilding assistance and how it works. But they do need to work through their financial institution that they, whether they're a member of a credit union or they bank with a bank. And that bank has to be a member of our cooperative.
Okay.
So because we're wholesale, we don't do anything directly with the consumer. So It's always through the local institution.
So is this the $15,000? Is that an average amount? How do you decide who gets what?
So that's the maximum grant award.
Okay.
It is what we tell people is it should be need based so that the most people can be helped by the limited dollars we've got each year. So it really depends on the situation with the house and the cost of the repairs. So some folks might have a roof replacement that's $9,000. Others might need the whole $15,000. Depends, on the cost of what needs to be fixed. And this program also works with non-roofing issues as well to address other storm damage. So it can be kind of flexible in that way. Our typical average amount, we're probably $14,000 or so per individual.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what is, like I mentioned, when they do a lottery system here in the state of Louisiana, and the chances are about 20%. So what are you guys are giving these grants across all of the Gulf Coast, right? So do you have any idea, what are the chances when people apply?
So we offer this to our members, and oftentimes they'll either know of customers in need and work with them directly, or oftentimes they'll work with a local community organization that may already be working with, folks in their neighborhoods that have been impacted.
Okay.
And a lot of times those community-based organizations bring the applications to the members and identify the people that will apply. And we don't see how they figure out who they're going to help, to be honest.
Okay.
So there is probably more demand for this than meets the eye, but because it gets funneled through a couple of steps, we don't see an onslaught of applications, so to speak.
So the applications for this latest version, I think, like I said, is opened up August 3rd, and
Right.
it's 1.75 million. What does the application window look like?
So we keep it open until the funds run out.
Okay.
So it's really first come, first serve.
Okay.
Just for example, though, for this program, the funds have lasted a little longer this year because, knock on wood, there was no major disaster last year on the Gulf Coast. So we're kind of still going back a few years, like Hurricane Francine. So we had an initial offering of 1.75 million earlier this year, and that just ran out a few days ago.
Okay.
So it's lasting longer than historically, but typically the funds might be available for, let's say, 30 to 60 days on average. So it just depends on how many bad things have happened recently, and hopefully we're not in that business of fixing bad things for a little while longer.
Exactly. So let's talk about the other part of this, because I got the release talking about the disaster related grants, but you guys also have a non-disaster related situation. So if people, like I said, there's a lot of benefits. I mean, all through the Gulf Coast, people are trying to get these fortified roofs because of the insurance help that you get and just the peace of mind, honestly. So, what is the other program that is not, if you haven't gone through a disaster and you're fortunate that way and you don't apply that way, what's the other program?
So it's really, I mean, we're very literal in our naming of things. So this is the Fortified Owner Roof Replacement Program.
Okay.
And we've put $10 million out there this year to support the replacement of people's roofs. And it doesn't have to be disaster related, but obviously there are a lot of folks out there that have roofs that need to be replaced and have trouble paying for it. And we created the program as a way to spread the word about Fortified throughout, beyond Louisiana, because your state has done really well in educating the public about Fortified and the benefits of it. And we want to continue that and support that in Louisiana. And we also want to see it utilized more in other states, because we've seen it, just like I'm sure you have as somebody who has a roof. The benefits to your home and your insurance are really, really positive. And the one thing that we like about it too is if another major storm hits that home that's got a fortified roof, the chance of it surviving is a lot better. And you don't have to leave your house. You don't have water intrusion. You don't have more damage. And so when people don't have to leave their homes, communities recover faster. And it's just better for the homeowner and the community at large.
So how long have you been offering that program? Did that come along at the same time as the DRA grants?
This came after the DRA grant. And honestly, when we initially started the DRA grant, it did not have the Fortified component to it. But we started the Fortified program in 2023.
Okay.
So relatively new.
Mm-hmm.
And it has grown in our funding and our popularity over that time. So we started out just with it as a $3 million program, just getting it started. Now we're a couple of years in a row, we're at $10 million a piece. And we had our last application period in the 1st of July.
Okay.
Opened the roundup early in the morning, like 8:30 in the morning. And within minutes, all the funds were applied for.
Okay.
So, you asked a question earlier about demand. There's a lot of demand
Yeah.
for these dollars. And it's structured differently. I mentioned with the disaster rebuilding program, we and member institutions rely on community organizations to help bring people in.
Okay.
That is exactly what happens with this Fortified program. So there are quite a few community organizations that are working to bring significant numbers of folks into this to get neighborhoods repaired. So we'll take applications up to 50 homes at a time from the members and who are working with these organizations. And that's why the demand all of a sudden really kind of skyrocketed. A lot of organizations realize the help they can provide to their constituency. And really popular. We provide up to $17,000 per household in this Fortified program. In
I
part
want to stop
because
you
of,
right there and say that that's huge because I know there was a report that came out from the Louisiana Legislative Auditor that found that the out-of-pocket costs were about 6,229 after accounting for the grant. So the grant, and I know this personally, does not usually cover the full amount.
right.
So if you're offering more of that, it sounds like it's coming closer to covering the full cost of a fortified roof.
Yeah, I mean, we see people coming out of pocket even with $17,000 covered. So it happens for sure. And we also end up complementing and making up that gap with our funds. So there's funds coming from the state insurance program, the 10,000, and then people are applying for our program to make up the gap there of whatever their cost is. So we work well with others.
So you can do both. If you got the $10,000 grant and you're getting, and I know that happened with me, is that when I was so excited, we were number 6, came back and they came and looked at the house and said, there's all this stuff that we have to do to make that base that we could put the fortified roof on.
Yes.
And so in order to do that, it's going to cost this much. And I got a sticker shock. And the roofer doing it, he's like, yeah, there's a lot of people that drop out because of the extra cost.
Yeah.
And so I love hearing that there's an opportunity there for that. And that is a problem that our state is working to remedy in a few different ways. But even if the 10,000 sounds like a lot, but you're not getting a regular roof, you're getting a fortified roof, and there's extra costs that come along with that. So that is not fully accounted for. So I love, that's part of why I was excited to talk to you, is that I love this idea that you can put both of these together and make that up so that it actually is, you are really winning the lottery here and getting a roof.
A good multiplier effect. Yeah.
Yes. So how does yours work? Because ours is very straightforward. It's an application process. And then, like you said, like the day comes up, we're very familiar with lotteries here because we do that for schools.
Yeah.
You literally, your number comes up and you win the lottery. Is that kind of what you guys do, or?
So there's not a lottery for us. Again, the organizations need to, the community-based organizations really pull all this together and work with our financial institutions to come in. So it is a first come, first serve operation. At least this year it is. And folks get their applications submitted with, 10, 15, 20 other folks from a particular area.
Okay.
Is typically how it works.
So
like, for the July application, there's a good chance that community organizations were talking with homeowners and contractors months before that, because you have to be income qualified for one. So households with income up to 120% of the area median income for that parish can qualify. And that's all stuff you can look up on the internet. And then we do ask for the evaluation of the home ahead of time to make sure that it is able to accept a fortified roof. To your point
Yeah.
about the extras,
We had that. We
there,
have that as well.
yeah, there are certain types of homes that just won't qualify for a fortified roof just because the construction doesn't line up. So we don't want to spend a lot of money and effort on something that potentially wouldn't work. And then if you did the work and can't get the certification from IBHS that it's fortified, then that's a bit of a downer.
Yeah.
So we try to work through that ahead of time to manage expectations.
So I know the state of Louisiana does this because it benefits us all to have lower insurance rates in the state. It pulls some of the draw off of our state insurance, Louisiana citizens. So there's a very big reason that they're putting out the money and wanting to do this. So what's the benefit for your bank, for FHLB, in doing programs like this?
So several years ago, again, going back to our response to disasters, we were reactive, and we were, there's a major hurricane. Like a lot of companies, we would donate money to XYZ organizations to help with recovery, rebuilding, providing food, shelter, etc. And we still do that. But as we learned about Fortified, we figured there's a better way to help people get ahead of the damage and hopefully avoid it. And, communities are stronger when people are able to get in their home again real quickly or never leave it. And financial institutions, our members, benefit from that. If the economy doesn't go in the tank after a major storm, then financial institutions are going to be a little more stable, and they're our customers. So in a roundabout way, it helps our customer. It helps their customers. They're the people that bank with them, have a better experience and hopefully a safer one.
So the $10 million for the non-disaster related, is that annual, and where does that money come from?
Yeah, it is annual. So it is self-funded by the Federal Home Loan Bank of Dallas. And our main business is lending money to banks and credit unions and the like. And so we do that in a low cost way, but we also make a little money off of that, to fund our operations, et cetera. And we take 15% of what we make every year and put into community and affordable housing programs. Okay. So this is one of those. And so that it's a good chunk of that 15% that we're dedicating to this program every year.
Awesome. Well, this is very exciting to hear about. And we will put in the show notes, we'll put a link so that people can, it's too much to explain all the rules and all the everything in one podcast. So we'll push people to the all-knowing internet, and they can figure out how they qualify and what they do.
That'd be great.
But I would love to finish up. I know that you are talking to us from Dallas, but that you have been here many times. So I'm going to ask you the same questions that we ask the people who are local. So some fun ones to get to know you, because people might see you in town, right? And they can.
It happens, yeah.
So, all right, digital or paper calendar?
Both.
Both.
Yeah.
Oh.
I live on the digital calendar, but I got the paper one on the wall so I can do a quick look and see when things are happening.
Awesome. All right. Love that. Oh, multiple organization.
Yeah.
A book, movie, show, or podcast that you're loving right now other than Biz Talks?
Wow, other than Biz Talks. Is there a better one?
No, there's not. But let's say second place.
I just started reading a book called Reversion, which is an in the weeds kind of science book that's pretty interesting.
So is it like fiction, nonfiction?
No, it's I will say it's nonfiction, but it's kind of theoretical about where the planet's going, so to speak. So
that doesn't sound fun. It sounds informational.
It's not an easy read, so this may take a while.
All right, so favorite productivity hack other than having multiple calendars?
Other than the calendars, being able to work with great people and to delegate to their strengths and really maximize how the team works.
That's a good one. All right, if you weren't doing what you are doing right now, what would you be doing?
Literally or figuratively?
You choose. You choose.
Literally, if I wasn't talking to you, I'd be preparing a presentation.
Oh, well, you're welcome then.
Yeah, thank you. You bailed me. Figuratively, kind of once upon a time-ish, I wanted to be an astronaut when I was a kid.
I was so going to say that because of the timing, and I think we're around the same age. Astronaut was such a huge thing, so I was waiting for somebody to say astronaut.
There you go. Yeah, absolutely. And tragically, I don't handle dizziness well, so that was out.
That's fair. That's fair.
That is very fair.
So if you were given your own talk show, who would be your first guest?
So that's an interesting one because I've never imagined doing a talk show, not even once. It probably would be sort of around baseball. So
Right.
I'm a big baseball guy, and my sons have played, and let's say Don Mattingly.
Don Mattingly. All right. All right. Well, I appreciate it. I've enjoyed getting to know you, even though you are all the way in Dallas. You do still come here, so I'm excited about it. And I'm excited about this opportunity for our citizens to make up that gap and to have even more opportunity and a chance to get these fortified roofs. That's a good thing for all of us. And like you said, I mean, not only locally, but all across the Gulf Coast, just to literally fortify our homes. So I really appreciate it. And I've enjoyed getting to talk to you.
Thank you very much, Kim. Same here, and I hope we can help some folks out in Louisiana.
Absolutely. Now you get to go back to your presentation.
Hooray.
Hey. All right. Thank you. Thanks everybody for listening and watching.
Biz Talks is brought to you by Biz New Orleans Magazine. Follow us on social media at Biz New Orleans and visit bizneworleans.com for daily news and stories.